Okay, so hey, it's me. You might know me by my artist name, The Purple Bishop. Um, Today, I just thought it would be cool to maybe try and go through my songwriting process. Um, I'm still like pretty beginner on it, but I thought it would be cool to just like try and write a song and see where it goes, even if it doesn't work out, just make a song. So actually, I just remembered. So I cheated a little bit. I actually came up with these chords last night when I was just on my guitar. So I already have kind of a chord progression I was thinking about, but that could also change. I could show you real quick. It's like, and so that goes back and forth and eventually goes down. So it's like, and then I'm not really sure what it's called, maybe a bridge. So yeah, that's like the overall vibe, I guess, that it is. It's a little sad. It's like, well, it's almost like, I don't know, when I listen to it, it's not quite sad. It's like a little melancholy, but it's also like I'm thinking about something that I want back, or like I'm thinking about something that was like a really sweet memory, but it's a little sad now because maybe someone is gone or something happened that, is sad, but you still remember it fondly. I feel like it's got that kind of vibe. I haven't written any lyrics yet, but that's basically my progression. So first things first, I'm just gonna try and write down some musical ideas, or not, sorry, not musical, lyrical ideas that come to mind. I learned this brainstorming technique from Andrew Huang. I forget what it's called, like a lyric spider, something that's supposed to help you brainstorm ideas for a song. So I'm gonna try and just come up with kind of like the lyrical structure, maybe some melody that I can put over it, and maybe what the name of the song might be, and some lyrics that could go with it. So this is my kind of lyrical web. I just have some basic ideas about feelings, warm weather, kind of basic ideas that I might be able to structure this around or include some themes. Summer, my friends graduating, stuff like that. All right, so now I'm gonna try and go towards the lyric writing and kind of just like play around on my guitar and see what I can come up with, or if I can come up with some lyrics. So yeah, for this next part, I'm kind of just gonna play around on my guitar and try and see if I can make any sort of melody to this. That's one thing that I find helps me if I'm trying to write a song, is just like, kind of humming or ad-libbing some stuff over the chords that you have, just to try and like find any sort of thing that you might be able to work on. So if I was just trying to do something and be like, yeah, 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 yeah. Now that's like a pretty basic kind of like vocal harmony. And my vocals are probably not going to be as professional or whatever, but I'm just gonna do some stuff on here and see if I can come up with anything. It's about to be summer, June, July, and August. It's about to be summer, June, July, and August. Friends are dun, dun. It's okay to be scared of the future, 'cause we don't know what it holds. It's okay to not know where you're going. It's okay to not know where you're going, but that's not what we're told. Get told that it doesn't matter. That's not what we're told and told in our lives or at home. I'm scared getting older. Know where you're going, but that's not what we're told. Okay, so we got some lyrics. This is the sort of melody and lyrics I came up with. It's okay to not know where you're going. Oh wait, that's not the right one. Oops, my bad. It's okay to be scared of the future. No one knows what it's hold. It's okay to not know where you're going, but that's not what we're told in our lives or at home. I'm scared of getting old. Those are the basic lyrics I've got so far. And I'm gonna record that little progression thing just so I can have that down. So now I've got the chords recorded. Now I'm just gonna do a little lead over it. Not really lead, but just give it some spice. So I'm also just gonna lay down a software instrument so I can see if I can find like a piano sound. So now I've put some MIDI on top of it. I think the next step when I'm writing songs is I usually kind of just like add more stuff to it until I like where it's at, and then I kind of build off of there. So right now this is kind of like the intro part, but I'm gonna add some drums and bass to it to hopefully just like figure out what type of song this feels like it wants to be, if that makes sense. I don't know. Right now, this is my bass track, this is MIDI, this is the lead, and this is the chords. So right now I'm just kind of building something that I thought might sound good. So right now I've got... So now I feel like it kind of feels spacier, feels a little more musical. And right here I have drums, which I have not mixed yet, so they're probably not going to sound great, but... So yeah, I'm going to fix that and do some more stuff. Okay, so now I've got like the main part of the song. Basically, what I did was I actually duplicated these chords, and I panned one of them left about 44 on each side, so it gives a stereo split kind of effect. And then I have this lead, which I put some reverb on to give it some space. And now I have these chords that are kind of supporting the these plugs. So that's what we got so far. Then I also have this sub bass, which is sidechained to the kick. And also this ride loop is also sidechained to the kick. So yeah, that's the whole loop, and now if you hear it all together. So yeah, that's basically what it sounds like. I'm definitely gonna do some more mixing after I kind of sort out the structure of the song. So it's been about half an hour. I mixed the drums a little bit better. They're sounding a little nicer with the instruments. I also added this little lead part. I think now that I have this kind of structure going on, I have all my guitar parts up here and my, music that I made right here. I think next is to just arrange it. And what I was thinking, I might be able to show on like a piece of paper. So here is kind of like the skeleton of my song that I like follow if I'm trying to start on the production. In this case, I kind of did most of the production that I'm feeling before I actually made the structure, but I have the guitar, the intro, which I'm planning on being and eventually there's going to be a build up. That's probably going to be another section. The first drop and the lead is going to be this. So that goes on for about 40 seconds or so. So that's about, that'll get us to a good spot in our song. And then for the bridge, I don't want it to be too long. I'm thinking this first intro part is probably going to be the major build-up. So the bridge, I just put a little nature sounds because I just thought that would be a nice kind of, you have that tension and then you have a release, right? So I'm thinking I might even go back to the guitar part. I might add some guitar right here. And then I'm going to add some nature sounds to give it a peaceful kind of vibe. And I was noticing that I thought it was interesting when I was first playing the guitar, when I had those chords, they sounded kind of, I don't remember what I said, but it was a little melancholy, kind of like missing something, or, nostalgia. It was like, it had a little bit of a sad tone, but I was noticing when I play this kind of drop part, because it's not with real instruments, I mean, I don't know if that's the reason, but it sounds a little less sad or melancholy. And I think it sounds a little more like hopeful or like determined. And yeah, I thought that was interesting. I think those will give a good contrast with each other. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna arrange the song and then I will get back with a rough draft. Alright, so it's the next day and I've done a lot of work on this project. I know that's like kind of besides the point, is that I'm supposed to show what I did, but I can sort of explain. Basically, we got the guitar and vocals together, so the intro sounds like this. It's okay to be scared of the future. And then that goes for a while, and then we've got this kind of riser to give tension. And I also added this electric piano with a long reverb tail. Yeah, 7 seconds reverb tail. To give it kind of like a magic, I don't know about magical, but just like a longer, suspenseful vibe. That's not quite what we're told in our lives, or at home. So there's that part, right? So this is all good with the electric piano. And then we've got this final part to the drop. that's what the drop is sounding like so far. Let's see, where did I set that paper? So yeah, this is pretty much following the same structure that I was intending. It's got the guitar and vocals. I decided not to use white noise during the build-up, just because I thought it worked a little better if I did like a countdown. It kind of mimics like a live performance. So when it gets to this part, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I felt like that worked a little bit better with what I was going for. One thing I did to kind of alleviate that harsh drop is that I added a little on the electric piano instrument. I went an octave lower, and then I added this kind of roll into the drop, so I feel like it works a little bit better. You can hear what it sounds like with no... 1, 2, 3, 4. See, it doesn't sound as smooth, but I feel like this gives it kind of like that, you know, something to work with. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's basically, I spent a lot of time on this drop, just mixing it together properly. So now I'm kind of getting into the bridge section. So I brought back the guitar. I also added a little lead to kind of carry it through. I'm still kind of figuring out what I want to do with this section. And so this is what this sounds like. And I'm thinking for the second drop, I think I'm just gonna pull out all the stops. I'm thinking like lead, like similar to but more kind of electronic. Like I was thinking, you know, triangle, square wave, something like that. And also adding back the vocals, maybe even adding the guitar too. It might get too messy there, but definitely the lead and vocals for like the final hurrah. So that's where I'm at this stage right now, and I will get back to you when I'm finished, basically. Okay, it is the third day of me making this song. I worked a lot on it yesterday. And I think it's pretty much done. I did some cleanup on like the vocals. I did some EQing of some stuff. Here's what it looks like all together. It's not a super huge project. It's 35 tracks, and I think actually some of them I'm not using. Real quickly, I just want to show for this second drop section. So I think I showed up till this point where it's kind of got the bridge. I have this second part where I come back with the guitar chords and this kind of beatboxing loop for like a stripped down version of the intro. It's okay to be scared of the future. So that goes for a while. And then eventually it actually repeats the same thing that it does right in the beginning with this kind of with the high reverb tail electric piano, which, you know, that's actually a trick I've never used before this song, but I replicated that same thing here. And then, yeah, I just want to show the drop part. I'm pretty happy with it. It's like more electronic, and it also follows the same drum groove as this beatbox loop. So that's what the groove is like, and I wanted to, because at first I just copy and pasted over this drop and pasted it right over here, but as you can hear in this one, you know, it's a simpler beat. It's like basically boot to boot to, you know, and this one you can hear the beatbox loop. Oops. So it's more like a do. So that's what I also wanted to turn this one into. All I really had to do was move one of the kick drums. I moved one of the kick drums out of place, and it made this cool rhythm. So here's the drop, the second drop. Also, one thing I did was I'm not sure if you can hear over the phone, but I sidechained a lot of instruments to the kick to kind of give it that intense feelings. You know, you always got your bass sidechained, so these little key things are sidechained to the snare, which it's not a necessity, but I think it makes it cool. It's not very noticeable. I also have these chords that are like very intense, kind of sparkling. And yeah, those have sidechain compression. And finally, this ARP. And for this one, I like just going into, I really like arpeggios. So for this, I just went into the octave range and turned it up to 2, and then the variation to 3, which gives it a different pattern. And also, I changed it to up and then down, because if you listen to it, you know, that's cool and all, but I liked this pattern more. And you can also hear what like you know, what a basic arpeggio would be like. And that's pretty much all I did for the drop. And yeah, doing mixing and stuff. Then at the end, we just have this little outro of the intro chords just repeated over here. So yeah, those fade out. Vocals was one of the hardest parts for me in this song personally. I'm not a singer, but I think I have like a decent voice, but it was hard for me to sing on this track and try and get all my pitch intonations right, because I have not practiced ever. I basically never sing. I mean, that's one of my just personal things, is that I'm a little insecure about my voice, so I end up putting a lot of effects on it, kind of to, you know, at least bring some attention away from it, you know? So I put on this rotor cabinet. I have like a bunch of modulation and reverb, so it gives it like an old radio sound. No one knows quite what it holds. Also, right after the first drop ends, I have this bridge section where I have these two vocals that I think sound pretty nice together. I muffled them, or put a filter over them rather, and I think it sounds nice. I was at first I was thinking this section in total is a little bit too long. I mean, if I zoom out, you know, like if I'm accounting for just the drops, you can see it's right there and right there. And that's not very much time, but I actually like the way that it's set up, where it kind of just repeats the song again. So it goes intro, drop, and then it goes bridge, intro, drop. Because this section, I don't even know how long this is. If you take it from right here, that's 128 all the way to 2:55. So that's over a minute that you're waiting for the next drop. I know just from like my experience that it's hard to keep my attention on something for a whole minute. You know what I mean? Through listening to it, I feel like this is a way that works, and I feel like another way would have worked for another song, but I think this works fine. Just, I guess, some tips that I always use is I always make sure that my bass is in tune. That's like super important. In a lot of my early songs, I would just go by ear, but it's actually really easy to just go and like transpose it up 12 tones, and then you can hear much better. And if you need to, you can transpose it up even 24, so you can really get like a clear sound of what tone that's making, right? So then I basically just go through and make sure that my bass is all on the right notes, because if it's not, it can f up the whole thing. Sorry for profanity. I'm really happy with this song. I think this is one of my favorites that I've made so far. And I also, I don't know, it was a good experience to like push myself past my comfort zone by singing on a track, because that's something that I never do. I hope you enjoy the finished track, which I will play at the end of the video. Is that now? I don't know. It's okay to be scared of the future. No one knows quite what it holds. It's okay to not know where